There's something draining your energy, and it's not what you think. It's not work. It's not exhaustion. It's not the routine. It's the habit of over-explaining yourself to people who never wanted to understand you. You know when it happens. It's when you cancel plans for a real reason and still type out 3 paragraphs of justification before hitting send. It's when you rehearse the conversation in the shower, test out phrases, anticipate objections, and when it's time to speak, you're already exhausted before you even open your mouth. I've seen this happen so many times I've lost count. People believing that if they explained better, they'd be understood, that if they chose the right words, they'd be accepted, that if they were more patient, everything would work out. But it didn't work out, because some people don't ask for explanations to understand. They ask to measure, to test, to maintain control. Over-explaining creates a silent exhaustion. You start editing your thoughts before you even feel them, revising emotions like they're message drafts, negotiating choices that should be simple, and it weighs on you. It weighs on you to justify why you need time alone. It weighs on you to feel guilty for choosing what protects you. It weighs on you to live with the constant feeling that you owe something to someone who never asked what you needed. I observe all of this because I've carried the weight of the question, how long does it take for someone to realize they owe nothing to those who never wanted to listen? And the answer, almost always, is the same. Until the exhaustion becomes greater than the fear of disappointing others. I saw this happen with someone close to me. She had the habit of letting people know when she'd leave work early, always with a reason, always with justification. One day, she just left, without notice, without explanation, and no one asked anything, because those who really needed to know already knew. The rest was just control disguised as concern. That's when she understood. Not every explain yourself comes from someone who wants to understand. Until one day, they stop. Not out of anger, not out of pride, but because there's no energy left for one more round of please understand me. And this is where everything changes. I'm Lumi. I observe in silence. And what I saw when someone stops explaining themselves was this. Not everything needs to be clarified. Not every decision needs to be defended. Not every boundary needs to come with a 12-page thesis. Silence starts to work. Those who truly care understand without effort. Those who don't understand get uncomfortable. And those who only came around when everything was allowed walk away. At first, this is scary. You hesitate. You think, but what if I'm being unfair? What if I really should explain? Then comes the guilt, the urge to go back, to soften, to give in. But something new also appears. The realization that this doubt is also part of the game. Because the ego learned early on to confuse acceptance with survival. But the soul recognizes the relief immediately. And you realize it's not coldness, it's clarity. There's a huge difference between being accessible and being constantly invaded. When you stop explaining yourself, life slows down.
Conversations get shorter. Relationships get more honest. The noise fades. You save energy. And that energy returns to where it always should have been, within you. Something important becomes clear. Many arguments were never about understanding. They were about who would give in first. When you stop explaining yourself, you stop giving away what costs you too much. It's not hardening, it's respect. What's true doesn't require constant defense. What's real doesn't need to be proven every Monday at 9 a.m.
Watch a child say, "I don't want to," without justification, without negotiation, without fear of being misunderstood. Just raw truth. When did you unlearn that? Dogs know this too. They don't explain who they are. They don't justify boundaries. They simply walk away from what hurts and stay where there's respect. They feel and they act. No guilt, no hidden agenda, just clarity.
Maybe today you're still trying to be understood. Maybe you're tired of speaking and not being heard. If that's the case, I want to remind you of something. Not all silence is weakness. Sometimes it's maturity. Sometimes it's the most generous thing you can do for yourself. Maybe life gets lighter the day you stop explaining yourself and start respecting yourself. If you recognize this in yourself, you're not alone. And maybe it's time to stop explaining. Stay here. We understand each other in silence.